Welcome to the Select Board meeting for Monday, April 13th. We'll call to order at 6:41 p.m. Review of meeting minutes from March 23rd.
Make a motion we adopt the meeting minutes of Monday, March 23rd, 2026 as written.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Review and potential appointment of patrol officer positions. Chief, come on up.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Welcome, sir.
Let me just pull it up here. So, I'm here to talk to you about two potential candidates. One that is only interested in a part-time position with us, and the other is interested in our full-time position. The first is Fred Bizzaio. Fred comes to us with police experience. He's currently a chief in Goshen. He's got extensive management and leadership experience in his background, and used to live in town. He's familiar with our community, and I think that he would be an excellent asset, even if he's willing to pitch in part-time. Speaking with Fred, it sounds like he might be available at times up to two shifts a week, so that could be huge right now, especially as we're looking to get a couple of these candidates that we have to the academy and through the academy, and then some training. And so I just think that Fred would be a huge asset. He did meet with the committee, and he was recommended as well.
Okay. You wanna consider Fred, and then we'll go to the other one after.
Sure.
All right.
So I will just add as Select Board's representation, in addition to what the Chief said, I agree. He has both supervisory and chief experience, albeit small towns in the West County, but he is post certified. Aside from quick, abbreviated field training of our policies and procedures, the way that the chief expects things to be done in our town, and I think he will be an addition that's extremely helpful in short manner. I know he's very familiar with community policing, runs a similar model to what we have. He's very connected with his communities where he works already, so I have no reservations about the chief's recommendation.
Okay.
Thank you, Selectman Lloyd.
I would also add that he was also a sergeant in Ashfield.
He was part-time as well, Mr.
Yep.
Benberry.
On a
Yep.
part-time basis.
Yep.
Yeah. Which further collaborates his training and his expertise. I only have one question. If he is brought on, considering that he's the chief in Goshen, is there any concern that he could be called by Goshen in an emergency situation?
I think that potential exists, Mr. Benberry, and obviously if that arose, he could always call me, let me know that he has to scoot out of town. Depending on the time, I can make myself available, or we can put state on. So yes, I mean that there is a possibility.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, because it's preferable to have a backup plan before you need a backup plan. And you've thought of that, so I'm grateful. So in the body of your discussion, you talked about a pay increase commensurate with his training and expertise. Did you have a recommendation as to what
I
that
did
step
not.
should be?
I did not have a specific number in mind. I just figured that he should definitely come above, the normal 1 through 3, which we kind of, have used in the past. I believe when we brought Officer Gordon in, she was brought in at maybe 9 or something. But yeah, I'm willing to have that discussion with you folks if you feel strongly one way or the other. But I think with his leadership and his management and his time on the job, he should definitely be considered for somewhere in the top step or close to.
Okay. So I've thought about that process. Oh, I'm sorry, Jane.
No, go ahead. I was just going to ask a question, but go ahead.
No.
Finish your thought.
Looking at the grades and the step, my feeling that step 8 would be appropriate. I would not want to go higher than a step 8. Having said that, until a motion is made, turn it back to the chair.
All right, thank you. Do you know approximately how many hours he works in Goshen? Just thinking about schedule-wise.
He told us when he interviewed. I don't want to.
Roughly.
I think he's putting in more than what he's probably getting recognized for.
Wouldn't speculate.
But I want to say he's maybe 32 or 30.
Okay, thank you. I have no concerns.
Yeah, no, and just to the salary point, recognition of Officer Gordon. She was a nearly 30-year veteran with diverse background. I fully, she was hired before I sat on this board, but I would have supported and did support the level she was brought in on. This candidate, while he is, he has experience as a supervisor, as a chief, I don't think it matches. It's not 30 years experience, so. But I'm also, I don't have an appetite for haggling either, so if you feel like step 8 is appropriate, I'm not going to put up a fuss.
Okay.
Yeah, I was somewhere from 6 up, but not at the top either, so I'm fine with it. If that's where we want to go, I support it.
Well, then I'll make a motion. A motion to appoint Fred Bazzaio as a part-time, regular scheduled, up to 19 hours per week, non-benefited patrol officer in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 133, for a term of 1 year pending successful completion of a pre-employment background check, psychological exam, physical exam, and drug screen at a rate of grade NP2, step 8, on the non-union police compensation schedule, which is at a rate of $32.96 per hour, and with a start date on or before. Did you have a start date?
Did you have a recommendation on the date, Chief? With what the pre-employment is taking,
So
roughly?
About 4 weeks right now.
it's just the physical that I'm seeing is a couple weeks out. So I don't have my calendar in front of me, but I would say maybe the first or second Monday in May.
What if we did May 8th?
That's a Friday? Or am I in the wrong year?
If you move the calendar 2 months, it puts you in June.
Oh,
Let's try that again.
Then it changes.
How about Monday, May 11th?
All right. That's the second full week. That work?
With a start date on or before Monday, May 11th, 2026.
Second.
All those in favor? All right.
Thank you, gentlemen. And so the next name that I want to present to you folks tonight is his name is Christian Lowell hyphen Williams, but he goes by Christian Lowell. When he met with the screening committee, it was unanimous. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I'm pretty confident that everybody really liked him. He did an excellent job interviewing. He presented very community orientated. He does have some experience in fire, but he is looking to pursue law enforcement. He did go to a full part-time academy, but that has since expired, so he would have to go back to the full-time police academy. Seems like a great individual. I think he would be a good fit, especially for our community and the community policing envision that I have. I am asking for a start date of July 1, and the reason why I did that is because I'm pushed on time for getting individuals into the academy. There's one I think that we had discussed in June, early June. There's no way I'd be able to get him into that academy. The next available one would be in Plainfield. Is that what I thought? Was it not Plainfield? Linfield.
Yes.
Linfield in mid-July, and that would be about a 2.5-hour ride for him, which I think is too much. And so I reached out to the director of the MPTC Academy in Holyoke, and their next anticipated start date is September 21st. And so I'm thinking if we bring him on in July, we don't have a body just sitting around, with a couple other guys that we're trying to get trained up. Comes on in July, we can get him registered and into the academy and start that one in September for Holyoke, which would be much more doable for travel.
Chief, do you have a guarantee that he'll be able to attend the Holyoke Academy?
I can't foresee any reason why he would not, Selectman Benberry. It hasn't even been posted yet for the seats.
Okay.
So as soon as it gets posted, we'll get him a seat. They start with about 40, 45, 46 seats. So if we get him in July, get him his physical, get him his psychological, should be no problem. And I've already spoken with the director. She knows that we'd be looking to send one as well.
Okay.
Do you know roughly how far ahead of the academy they usually open them?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm sure I can, let her know. If you guys accept my recommendation, I can always just let her know that we'll definitely have one for her. So let me know as soon as that becomes available. But I do check it. Every week to 2 weeks, I'm checking the MPTC website just to see what they have for other training as well. So.
And I assume you spoke with the candidate about Linfield, so they're aware that it would be a little later.
Correct.
If,
And yet,
if we bring them on. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, he's very excited about the possibility, and a delayed start makes sense for him as well. He is working full time, so.
We'll just agree with Chief Holt's comments. I believe he was very well received by the committee as a whole. He has a personality that is big, but almost infectious. I found it hard not to like this guy. He reminded me of some other people that I know and respect in the law enforcement community. I know he places a very high value on his physical fitness and conditioning to make sure that he's up for the demands of the job. And we don't know until it's out there, but again, I agree with Chief. I think he'd be a good add to the team and a good add to the community.
So I have no concerns. So make a motion.
Please.
A motion to appoint Kristen Lowell as a full-time benefited patrol officer in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 133, for a term of 1 year, pending successful completion of a pre-employment background check, psychological exam, physical exam, and drug screen at a rate of grade P2, Step 1, at a rate of $21.16 per hour, and with a start date on or before July 1st, 2026, with continued employment condition upon successfully completing the Massachusetts Police Training Committee Academy and obtaining peace officer standards and training commission certification.
I'll second that motion.
And just an amendment, I think you said 21, it's 2816, right? The rate? Am I reading that
Did I
wrong?
say,
I thought you said 21, but I might have
No, I
misheard
thought I heard 28.
you. Did you? Oh, well then it was just me. All right, well as long as you heard what
Are
we got the right thing.
We're good.
All right, then I am good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen.
I have one question.
Go ahead, sir.
So we have two candidates going to the academy, and I know the physical part of that is pretty strenuous. Both of these candidates going to be looking to get in shape and be ready.
Yeah, so Christian, who we just voted on tonight, he is into health and fitness. It sounds like he works out regularly. And then the other young man that you guys have already approved, he's a sergeant in the military. He's an MP currently as a National Guard or reservist. And so he presented himself that he's very fit. And I would imagine he has, PT regularly and standards that he has to meet through the military.
Okay.
So I'm not concerned with either one of them.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, anything else tonight for us? I think that was it, right?
Sir.
All right.
Excellent.
At some point we'll have to talk about transportation and vehicles. We have to, in general, talk about vehicles, surplus and all that,
Yep.
but also plans around having officers going to 2 different academies and all of that, so.
We already have a plan. But yes, we
Well,
will do.
we need to talk about it at
Yes.
the board, though.
Yes.
Now that we have 2 people going,
Yes.
we'll bring that in the next week's month or so, before June, before July.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And then I'll announce that we ratified a collective bargaining agreement with NEPBA Local 121 for another 3 years, beginning on July 1st, 2026, through June 30, 2029. We got like just another minute before we get into the joint session. Finance and Capital are welcome to come get settled. While they're doing that, review and issuance of the 12th water commitment for FY26.
I have no concern.
Nor do I.
Make a motion to accept the Water Commissioner's 12th commitment for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $40.82 for water services.
Second.
You're good as well, sir.
What's it?
You're good as well?
Yes, I'm good as well.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
You just sign at your leisure. All right, with that, it is 7 p.m., so we'll call the joint meeting of Capital, Finance, and the Board of Selectmen to order. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
First, we'll review of the FY27 operating budget and capital budget requests and projected revenue estimates. Primarily, you all have a memo that Brian and Brandon put together kind of following on our discussions last week and the changes that we proposed, and where all the numbers landed after that in aggregate, as well as a couple items that we wanted to revisit or came up in between. So, going down through that memo, anything in the first list of bullets from changes relative to last week's discussion of concern? Everything look good? Good on the bullets? Okay.
Good on the bullets, yes.
All right. And then the net result of those changes is an increase in what is currently unbudgeted levy. And there are a few items that we discussed and new ones that have come up since. So one we discussed was around what wage adjustments. I think there was what's a 1% and then what's 3%. The math, they got the math for us. It's about 19 for one, so therefore about 57, just over 57,000 for a 3% for all non-unit and non-employment agreement town site employees. And then there's a recommendation to increase the personal leave in the treasurer's budget by $758, which I believe is probably the outcome of my recommendation to leave that budget or make it more towards hours. No,
It was
just an error.
it's just an error that we came
Okay.
across as we were reviewing every department.
Let's just clean up.
It was just cleanup. Yep.
Okay. Any concerns with that increase? Okay. And then there's additional wages here for additional carve out to put aside for other wage adjustments that are pending overall with other agreements that are in motion. And so on the back of the page there, it has what that would put us at overall for a new balance, assuming we are incorporating a 3% plus a placeholder for other adjustments.
I just want to note there, the body of the paragraph on the first page refers to 85,280. It should read 86,330. We caught that later on, and I missed it in that paragraph.
The bottom of the page should be
Correct.
86,380,
Should be 86,330,
330.
and that's been corrected on the summary.
Corrected on the back side.
Correct.
Okay. So incorporating those changes puts us at a balance of 49 of unspent levy. There was an open question to come back and revisit the request for a part-time library assistant. That was requested to come back to from last week. We have a solid waste contract that we have not made a decision on yet on whether we'd go out or we would extend the contract, but if we extended it, it would be 5%
Correct.
is the rate allowed for if we extend it another year. And then Board of Health has an unexpected vacancy. And I believe they just met to discuss that in the last few days, or the end of last week, and also address what it would look like to try to rehire for that position.
Correct.
And there were some concerns about attracting at 30 hours. So they would like to propose moving that to a 40-hour position. It was sudden and unexpected in the last 2 weeks that vacancy happened, so we don't, it's last minute, but there are mitigating circumstances that happened. And the 18,500 is our portion, or that's the total amount?
That's the total amount you need to adjust.
Okay. And remind me, how does that work with the agreement?
So you have a cost sharing agreement with our portion, the town of Northfield, and the town of Shutesbury. Each pay an assessment.
Okay.
That comes in, it goes to the general fund. So you appropriate up front.
Okay. So this is one of those where it doesn't offset the cost. We just fund the full amount and then the assessments come back as free cash.
Correct. It's
In
on
the
revolving
future year,
fund.
it's not revolving yet.
Correct.
It's not offsetting. Okay. So theoretically, of the 18.5, 2/3 of it would come in as receipts
Correct.
through the assessment model, or approximately. The model's probably not that simple,
Right.
but we wouldn't see it except as free cash in the coming year, the following year.
It's going to come in as a local receipt.
Yeah, it'll just come in as receipts. We could
Correct.
budget for it as receipts, but we won't have it
Correct.
against that budget line. So there are those three items, and then additionally, something that the board just made a change on with the highway superintendent and Brian was to create a facilities manager position. And once we had done that, we made the decision to move the highway foreman into that role, leaving a vacancy in public works. And so that conversation hadn't happened before our joint meeting, and I didn't remember to bring it up that night. But just to make everyone aware, financially, that recommendation is to shift the budget over to the proper, move that portion of the public works budget over to the proper budget now for that position. At the same time, that does leave a vacancy on the public works side. So down one position and a vacant foreman slot.
We're now not funding because we're moving that money into the other department.
Which, correct, correct, which is known, but I also want to make it clear that that's what's happening. We understood that that's the gap we're creating, and I'm not proposing that we necessarily have a budget to solve that in fiscal 27, but I also didn't want everyone to go into town meeting not realizing that that change was made or that that gap was created. I think to be accurate, some of the duties that fell under Public Works and was managed by that team has transferred over to the facilities manager role. So some of that workload is moving with the position change or an add, but not all, but by far not all. So there is still definitely a gap in, overall FTEs to perform the full Public Works duties. Glenn was fully aware and supporting of the change, understanding that we may not be able to do anything about it in fiscal 27, but we shouldn't lose sight of it even if we can't. In future years, that may need, probably will need to be addressed. So, but I want to make sure you were all aware. And if you have questions or others, Glenn's here, we can speak to it as well. So,
With the shift from public works to facilities management, will still be adequate resource people to handle public work stuff that they need? Or is it?
I'm going to put Glenn on the spot to come speak to that. I mean, I think generally yes and no. I mean, yes, they'll be able, they'll balance it, but at the same time, yes, there will be a deficit. So will that mean things take a little longer or aren't as, they can't do as many things? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
you-
He's absolutely right. When Thomas went to the facilities manager, it left a big hole in the highway side. Thomas was a huge support to both departments as the foreman. So yes, I would like to see that support back again. But yes, we are still shorthanded for the workload that we have.
Well, for some people in town, they'll like that, I guess, that, we're not having more staff than we really need, but recognizing that we're probably gonna need that as we come along. We're trying to move things around so that it minimizes the budget as much as we can, but you still want the services. A fine line to balance.
Yeah, and the foreman's role it's an important position to have.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
And Thomas, I know you're here, so if you'd like to formally recuse or something, I know you're not partaking in the conversation, please feel free, but because it is obviously about the roles you've had.
Yeah, I'll recuse.
Okay, thank you. Just to keep it for you. I know you're not going to partake in the discussion. The other piece of this is, I think we've all talked about it. We keep investing, and this is to capital as well, in buildings and infrastructure and equipment and all these things. We also understand that not maintaining it has a significant cost.
Oh, yeah.
and the amount of work to maintain it as we keep expanding and growing what we have and the quality of what we have also therefore requires more investment on that side of it. So adding this role has been something that's kind of been probably needed or in the wings for a while. And as our building and ground staff has expanded, it kind of just further illustrated the need. And we continue to add buildings and have projects and needs. We talk about a bunch of them here, a roof over, HVAC, that causes issues. The quicker that we can address, identify, and resolve those things, the less we will be spending in those areas to fix and maintain. So that's why we made the shift, but we also did it knowing we're creating a deficit in one department at the same time. So
No, my recollections of the conversations and what Glenn brought forward was making a sacrifice for the greater good. They're to those points. If we don't maintain the investments that we're putting into our buildings and facilities, then we will be replacing them a lot sooner. This will add to the life expectancy of the projects we're doing. Glenn acknowledged that it will put him in a bit of a bind, but he reassured us he will figure out a way to continue to get things done in the best way possible. And I think I said it before, I'll say it again. He's yet to let us down. So while I recognize him being short-staffed, he tells me he's going to get it done. He's going to get it done.
any other questions or comments come out of that discussion? That specific one? Thank you, Glenn, I think. I don't think there's more questions for you yet, is there? Any more for Glenn before I let him go?
We wanted to fund a foreman for half the year. What are we talking budget-wise?
So right now, by using FY26 rates, it would be about a $7,000 increase for next year.
Okay, let me help answer that differently. To fill a vacancy,
Yes.
it'd be like $30,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Give or take. That's a real ballpark. I'm just
Yep.
throwing a rough number at the wall. To potentially have someone move into the foreman position but not fill the FTE vacancy in the department would be about seven for the year.
7,300 for next year, yes.
For the whole year. And that would just be a change if we moved someone up to that position. That doesn't do anything with the overall
Correct.
one FTE gap in the overall department. So two different things. I just want to make sure. I think
Yep.
you were looking for a half FTE, not
Yeah.
just a change in staff level. And if we're adding another position at over 19 hours, then it would also be benefits for whatever portion of the year that's not in that 30.
But the benefits should already be factored into our benefit line because we're not adding a new position. We're shuffling people. Or did we add a brand? Oh, we did add a brand.
It would be adding if we're
Okay. Yeah.
backfilling the
Yeah. Okay.
missing FTE. I'm just going to call it an FTE for the sake of, if we're backfilling an FTE, yes, there's benefits if it's over 19 hours. If we are potentially filling the foreman but not adding to the staff gap, then no.
Okay. Those are my questions.
Anybody else for now? No? Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, those are the adjustments tallied so far for the things that we've talked about, the additional items that are out there. that we're aware of. I believe that is it. Feels like there's always one more this year, but we're out of time, so that's it to consider and decide on tonight. So then we can finalize the ATM as well. So I think we already said go on the personal leave for treasurer's budget. That's a given. Maybe taking them easier to more challenging. Solid waste contract adjustment. Is everybody good incorporating that to give us the latitude, depending on what we decide to do, to move that forward? I'll take it
I feel like that's a given.
as a yes. Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I
No,
thought it was easier to the harder. That's why I asked the question.
I'd rather have that there and potentially not need it than to need it and have it not be there.
Exactly.
So
Then I guess I'll jump to the Board of Health request, given their situation. It's last minute, I know, so if there are questions, we can try to answer them as best as we know. My understanding is the Board of Health has met with one of the other two partner towns, and they were on board with the recommendation as well to increase it. But
You mentioned some new circumstance around Board of Health. I don't know what that is.
so we
We have an unexpected vacancy.
direct, yeah, the person in the role unfortunately passed away unexpectedly.
Oh,
So we have
okay.
an unexpected vacancy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So they are, last minute reevaluating or just evaluating what do they do now. And part of, I think, the experience with attempting to get a pool and hire for this the last time, I think it was a challenge to have many people in the pool. And so this is one item they identified as a potential area that made that more challenging. So proposing if we were able to and willing to support it, they feel that may help them to in their next search.
I guess my question to that is there 40 hours worth of work? I mean, I don't want to just be increasing by almost $20,000 just because they think it's going to help them hire someone. If the workload isn't justified, then I have concerns.
Fair question. I can't obviously speak for the other two towns and what they're looking for. Every town has a different priority. I know our board has been trying to advance some regulatory and some other projects that have been on the back burner for many years. And they're looking to develop a different relationship with the businesses and the residents in town than maybe they've held in the past. So I do think that they're looking for a different level of service. So they're justifying on their perspective what they're looking for is an increase in terms of the depth of service. Again, I can't speak for the other two towns.
How are the hours split? Is it, we have 3 towns, so at 30 hours, is it 10 hours dedicated to each town, or is it by
No.
what services are necessary?
Agreed. Yeah. So one town may be very little in terms of commercial permitting, and instead have predominantly septic and well systems that need to be reviewed and inspected, and there's field work that needs to be done with that. So it sounds like maybe less work. It's actually, in some ways, more increased time in the field, right? But you're not replacing your septic system every year. So it's big investments for systems, but they're every 20, 30 years. Whereas Erving has a lot of housing. Erving has a lot of commercial businesses that need to be followed up with and maintain that relationship. And another town may not have that type of housing. So it definitely depends.
So it ebbs and flows as towns needs both throughout the year and year to
Right.
year.
Right.
So they're just balancing it.
They have a formula that they've been using for years, percentages, the way that they share that cost. It's been the same formula, I think, for a decade plus. So, and that is something that the 3 towns meet to work on what the split should be.
I mean, Time is the challenge right now, but part of me would rather being able to address this in a month or two and hear a little more about it. But what that extra 10 hours is meant to do, and the plans for the group as a whole, as well. I don't know exactly how we postpone that a little while, give them some time to flesh that out, come back to us, and still have a budget to do it, or anything like that. But
Kate, when they hired previously, was there an increase of hours at that time?
No,
So the position has always been 30.
there's a caveat to that.
not
Okay.
always.
We had a district that we were a member of for decades.
Yeah.
Actually, it probably feels like an old model, but it actually is the new model that the state is promoting. So most
old is
towns
new
have
again.
right, everything is cyclical. They, through a competitive excellence grant program, they called it, they were looking for towns to partner up. So 3 to 5 towns per partnership. And Erving's been in one with our neighbors for decades. So so while other towns were getting grant money to do a lot of that partnering, we were already doing it through this assessment. What was no longer working, as many can imagine, the personnel, the liability, the legal, all of the things that go into running an organization can be quite taxing. And so when you're a 3-member district,
Yeah.
doing all of that with one staff person or a part-timer, it's a lot for a Board of Health team to manage by themselves. So it was about 4 years ago that the Board of Health met with the Select Board and had a conversation about bringing it in. Maybe 2 decades ago, I think the town of Shutesbury took the lead. So Erving took the lead on this. I think we're in the 3rd year of that agreement. And so we just took the exact same model that they've been sharing for all these decades, used that as the foundation, created the intermunicipal agreement. So it's the same structure, it's the same partners, it's the same everything, but instead of having its own legal structure as a district, we're just running it through one of the towns, and Erving happens to be the host.
Okay.
So I agree with you, Chair. You know, it would be nice to have a little bit more time to discuss this and flush out more details. Since we don't have that, my thought on this is similar to bullet point 2. If we were to put that money, that amount as a placeholder for it, and then at future meeting we could, have more in-depth discussions on what our needs and expectations would be that would be in line with that, whether it's a review of changes in codes and what compliance would look like, or other things. But
Brian, what is the current staffing of the Board of Health?
The actual elected body?
Yeah.
So it's a 3-member board. We're currently filled with all 3 members. I know when Board of Health member Sally Delaney was with you a few weeks ago, she proposed the idea of asking the voters to expand the board membership to 5 members. I don't know if that's something you all will entertain in the future, but I know that, not to speak for her, but I think Sally was trying to communicate that there's a wide variety of topics and regulatory requirements that the Board of Health is responsible for maintaining and enforcing, and supporting businesses and community members to work through. And it can be overwhelming for a small board to do that by themselves, and so having not only a competent staff person, but also having enough board members to help share that weight is something that they were at least considering.
So with that loss, we're down to 3 total?
So you have 3 Board of Health members, and then we had a staff member who was currently not with us. So,
So the staff, they only have 1 staff member,
yes, correct.
and currently
okay.
that's
And then we-
vacated again.
Your office provides Board of Health clerical support. So we support the office administratively.
You said that that was cyclical. When does Erving come off the cyclical part of it?
Oh no, what I was saying by cyclical was what was old is now new. This idea of partnership is a revolutionary, new fangled way of doing business, and the reality is we've been doing it for decades. So maybe
Give it
we
a
were
new
ahead
name.
of the times. So no, we don't have a predetermined schedule for who is the fiduciary for this partnership. It could change with an agreement change. I guess that's sort of the nicety of having a intermunicipal agreement in place. That is a change that can be made, but there's no predetermined cycle when that would.
What are we doing in the meantime without a health agent?
We've been relying on our peers at FERCog to assist us in this time.
And the members to be,
Their members
the
have
Board
been
of Health
very
members have tried to step up and volunteer as much as they can or assist more than they normally would, but it's a lot.
Are there, I assume there are costs involved with using the FERCog?
Obviously, we don't pay them for the service
Yeah.
typically, so we have not been assessed a fee. So I've asked them to please tell me what the billable hours are for the services that they're doing.
Okay.
Which at least short term should be able to be covered by the budget
Correct.
that's
Okay.
available right now. But that's not a long term direction that the Board of Health's looking to go to at this point, to continue that indefinitely. Circling back to my question about the agreement and how that was structured, and as a lead town, there's, I believe in the model, there's some assessment for the admin and overhead that the lead town has versus the other towns to cover for that. The number's 18.5, but does that mean approximately 12,000 in local receipts could be increased then as well in our revenue projection? Roughly?
Roughly. I haven't.
I'm not
met
saying
with them.
exactly,
Right.
but
they haven't had a meeting yet, so I
Okay.
can't give you a firm answer.
Right. But assuming they agree
All three
to,
towns
they
agree
all
to it.
agree to the change, then whatever the percentages are, and I'm just assuming it's 1/3, but it's something like that. We can increase our receipts to some level, knowing that that would come in under assessment, and so we don't necessarily need to reserve 18. Is what I'm saying. I guess it's because if the other towns don't support it, then we won't necessarily need the funding at all, because that'll be a different decision if we were going to increase it just for ourselves.
Right.
At least that's not the premise I'm just thinking about it on tonight, is that it's a shared cost.
Correct.
So if they come back with that it's not a shared cost, but they still want to do it, that'll be a different discussion. But I just bring that up to say, like, we're looking at 18, but maybe looking at 8,500 or 6 or 7 is reasonable and close enough. In terms of net impact, we can add 18 and add the other to local receipts to offset it,
That's what you have to.
because that's the reality of the budget. But
Right.
but the net impact out of the 49 that we have left
Right.
could be less. If we want to do maybe what Jim said is put it aside. We're not saying we're okay making that change yet. Let's have further conversation about it. But we've at least allocated the funding in case. I don't know. I don't know that we're lining up for a special in June or not. We could also just not do anything with it and not spend that much and leave it there if we were going to meet again in June before the end of the fiscal year and have a special town meeting to allocate it if we were ready by then.
If we were going to meet in June.
Well,
think
I say meet, I mean have a STM in June,
yeah.
sorry.
yeah, that's what you meant.
Okay.
I think I would rather do that and get more information than kind of make a half-cocked decision now.
Be reactive.
I would encourage you to be reactive in this moment. And I know that's not my normal
You
encouragement.
would encourage?
I would. They really need to start the process. So if we're only going to hire for 30 hours, I need to know that soon so we can communicate that to our partners and move forward. If you want to have this other conversation, we should be scheduling that conversation. But if we wait till June, there will be more months of us having to rely on vendors to do this work. And our partners also have work that they need to have done. And we have a contract to provide them services.
Well, if if we're gonna have a meeting in June and we say that we're going to hire for 30 hours and 30 hours doesn't cover it, we could still make a move to extend to 40 hours with our June meeting if that looked like that was going to be the case, unless we're planning on hiring within a matter of weeks, right?
think
6,
it's
8
the
weeks.
The recruitment side, though. It's
Right,
a
but
recruitment
we-
thing, so we can't go out and recruit for 40 if we don't have a budget for 40.
No, but we can recruit for 30, and if they're not going to take it at 30, we can say, well, we can offer 40 because we've gone to a town meeting and
I think that what the board is trying to communicate, and again, the Board of Health just met Friday, so I'm bringing it to you on their behalf.
yeah.
What they're trying to communicate is that they are concerned that they did a recruitment at 30 hours, and they feel like that may have had a bit of a chilling effect on those who may be qualified and or interested in the position. And they're assuming a similar result will come from that effort, which is an expense that Erving incurs to advertise and to do that work. So I think that's why they asked to bring this request to you all, is just to be upfront about that challenge that they've already experienced once, to let you know that they expect that they may encounter it again. And if the longer we go without, the longer we're going to have to pay a vendor to do this work.
It may be I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
like I say, it may be an unfounded worry, but if we decide that we're going to go to 40,
Mm-hmm.
and the other towns decide that they don't want to go to 40, but we
Agreed.
still have to hire somebody at 40, so we have to eat everything, right?
No. What I was trying to say is I think the idea that you need to have this conversation is 100% accurate, and we should arrange for that conversation. In terms of setting the budget so we can get things ready for town meeting, that we're running out of time for.
Yeah.
But town meeting's not for another 4 weeks. So even if you started to have this conversation, if you were willing to even support this, we can schedule that meeting for one of your next 2 meetings to have that conversation. And if you, after that conclusion, decide that you would like to reduce that amount on town meeting floor, you could make a floor amendment to bring it back down. All of that's possible. But I think to what I was trying to explain, the chairman, I think, did a much better job of trying to explain what I was trying to say, is the front ending of the recruitment takes several weeks, sometimes more than a month. And even if you've identified somebody, then they have to give notice wherever they are. By the time they get here, you're talking in the short term a 2-month endeavor.
Right.
So if we start that in July, you're talking about having somebody start in September. And in the meantime, we do need to pay somebody to do this work.
Brian, they had hired for the health agent within like the last year, wasn't it?
Mhm.
So I will say, knowing that does sound like their pool is, the experience they had is relatively fresh.
Yes.
So if they knew that 30 hours wasn't great, it's not like they're talking about 5 years ago they hired someone. It's within the last 12 months. So personally, I would say not much has probably changed in the last 12 months
Agreed.
for candidates. And I would assume it will probably be a similar pool that this goes out to. So if people saw it at 30 hours a year ago and went, yeah, I'm not interested, it's going to be that same group of people, unfortunately, that'd be looking at it. And now maybe seeing it at 40, they might get some newer candidates.
Right.
So why can't we just simply say in the job description that the job posting that the position is 30 to 40 hours?
We could do that. And you've done, I'm thinking of 1 or 2 others where you've done up to 40 hours, and the successful candidate and the appointing authority arranged an understanding at 35 hours or something of that nature. And so we have done that. But we budgeted to the higher amount. We
Right,
just left it
right,
unexpended in the fund. So
Seems like Bill's suggestion would allow, or take into consideration something that Deb said, that if you don't need 40 hours of work, you don't have to have somebody just on board for 40 hours if there's only 30 hours of work.
agreed.
But it would perhaps attract other people to apply, and some may be interested in that flexibility.
Agreed.
But I think he said it quietly at the end there. When we've done that before, we've done it when we've had the budget for the 40.
Yeah.
So from a financial piece, that could be done on the hiring side, but the financial support for the up to needs to be there.
I'm just gonna say, I feel like if we're asking them for an up to, I would be concerned that they may get candidates that, if they truly feel they have a 40-hour need, then they may not be comfortable going out with a for up to or 30 to 40. And I would, as an applicant, I would be disappointed if I was coming in thinking, oh, I could work 32 hours a week because that's what suits my needs. And they said to me, oh, no, it's a 40-hour position. So I think if we agree to it, I would say, personally, I would agree to it knowing that they're hiring for a 40-hour a week position. I trust our Board of Health members, and if that's what they put forward, I'd like to know more about it, and I'd like to understand why the need has increased. But I do trust that if they feel 40 hours is the number, they have put the thought into it, and they will be able to come to a meeting and give us that information and say, here's our argument, this is why we need it.
Well, I think if we can have that as, again, I'll say it again, as a placeholder and stay under the levy, that doesn't mean we have to spend it, but at least we're prepared to spend up to that once we're in a position to make a more educated decision.
I agree. I think we should go through with 40 hours.
If I'm understanding it right, this doesn't lock us or the Board of Health into 40 hours. This funds so that they could have 40 hours if that's what's needed. Is that correct?
If that's how we say it, yes. And that's what I'd recommend. I personally would say I agree with it. I think we should budget it in. We have time, as Brian noted, before the ATM. We could make an adjustment on the floor if we all meet and decide it doesn't make sense. We should have those meetings and come to an agreement with the Board of Health on the path forward in the coming 2-3 weeks, so that we're all on the same page before ATM, and then whether we need to make an amendment or not, we already have that determined. But if we fund it and put it in there, then it sets the stage if we all agree to keep going that way or make an adjustment. Because I know none of us want to make an increase on the floor. We'd rather make a decrease if we're going to make any. So without knowing the formula, Brian, off the top of your head, do you think...
Sorry.
Do you think that, that there's a specific exact number we should try to carry at least to cover in terms of overall net impact? Is it 6? Is it 8? I mean, do you have an opinion? Or just take a stab at it and hope for the best?
Stand by.
I don't want to go find the agreement. I just wanted to know if you had an opinion.
I'd rather be precise than to guess.
Knew that was going to happen.
He's-
But
It's
we'll
also
he can
not
look that up.
often that he's asking us to be reactive, so
This is
he
true.
wants to justify the change in his
That's fair.
modus operandi.
That's true.
Well, it carries that much more weight because he does it normally. So while he's looking that up, then just for a placeholder for my own sake, I'm going to put 8,500 somewhere in that ballpark. What we have left to discuss is library director request for part-time library assistant position. Any changes to the public works budget relative to the position changes that the board have made, and what we're doing for the non-unit, non-employee base wage adjustments for 27. We have numbers, but we never made a decision per se. I think you said for discussions purposes, what's 3%?
I did. I asked what that was, and
So we still do need to make a decision on that. If it's that, so be it. If it's not, then so be it. But we should have a formal discussion. So if finance has any recommendations.
I'm going to recuse myself again.
Approximately 8,300.
Nice.
I thought you wanted to be precise.
is that your
You said
final answer?
approximately.
I use a lot of approximately as we do all of this.
We'll do 8,500 then. Just it's clean. It's easy.
Brian, out of curiosity, you mentioned that the agreement and the formula has been in place for decades. Do we know, is our formula current enough that it is covering the true cost of doing this?
Oh, go ahead
It's a
if
fun
you want.
question.
I can answer it if not.
I mean, the answer, of course, is always going to be no. It's not that precise. Part of that,
Wait a
part of
minute.
that, we never had a formal role, the select board or the admin office in the setting of that. So part of that was taking a model that had been in place and making sure that we tried to transition the boards of health into that relationship and put it in a more formal structure. So we accomplished those goals, and Selectman Bester actually was on the board at the time, so he was the liaison to help set this all up with me. The goal was to monitor it for the first 3 years, so we're coming to the end of that 3 years,
Okay.
and then have those conversations. I don't think anybody anticipated that we would be in a state of flux this year. So
Okay.
the goal was to have this be our year to review everything, see how 3 years had gone, and look at the formula, look at all of these things, and make the amendments.
Okay.
So I think we'll be a little delayed on that, but I think fiscal year 27 can serve as that opportunity
Okay.
to finally sit down, review how it's gone, and then review that formula. What it does try to capture, obviously, is the time that each town believes is attributed to each of the towns, plus a share of the health insurance costs and some of the incidentals that go along with having an employee.
And I will just add, to the best of my recollection, when this happened, because again, Scott was the liaison at the time, but I do remember when the board discussed it briefly, the percentages and the formulary to how we assess the other two towns may not be a perfect representation of their exact usage of everything, but it is designed to incorporate and does take the total budget that we have,
Right.
the approximate benefit costs, and the additional staff support, both treasurer's office, admin side, the board of health clerk hours that we have in our budget, and distribute that according to the formula. So all of the costs are mostly captured and then distributed based on the formula. The formula may not be perfect, but the costs are overall shared pretty well.
Almost.
Almost. Did I miss one?
Almost. Yes.
Okay.
Every town has their own clerical support staff, so we don't share that
okay.
resource.
My mistake.
Every town has their own legal representation. We don't share those costs. So every board maintains its own autonomy in that regard. They have their own liability and professional liability insurance. So, and each town indemnifies each other in the relationship. So it really is the true cost. The service is focused on the true cost of the health agent service
Yeah.
and what it takes to support that. There may be
That's
consideration
managing
for-
payroll. That's
Right.
also the benefits, and that's also like the IT equipment. It's those costs. So we're going to add 10,000 to local receipts and add 18.5 to the health department budget. The net impact will be $8,500 to that 49 that we have currently at the bottom, or our running total, whatever total everybody's working with. So circling back to wage adjustment, is there any recommendation from finance, or does anyone else want on what we want to do finally
For which things?
for non-union, non-employment agreement employees? Base wage rate adjustment. So base table adjustment for all non-unit, non-agreement employees. We have numbers for what 1% and 3% are, but we never made a decision on what it was. So we need to make the decision.
What is your 3% number?
It's in the memo. It's on the bottom of the first page. It's 57,183, or it's $19,061 per percent approximately.
Thank you. Were you asking for a recommendation from finance? Is that what I heard?
That's what I was asking.
I thought so. Well, prices for taxpayers go up, and so do prices for our employees. go up. It's hard to strike a balance of, being fair to the taxpayer, but being fair to the people who work for you also. And we don't have control of prices, really, on a national or state level, the grocery store or the gas station. And it seems like to support our workers, 3% is not an unreasonable amount to recommend. That's my thought. Plus, the other members would like something different.
I think 3% is a good place to start. So the 85, 280 is the 3% plus whatever
Other adjustments.
other adjustments need to be made.
Yep.
So that's the number that we would be shooting at.
There was a slight adjustment
80.
fixed on the table. It's 86,330.
Okay.
Just to clarify, you said starting point, you mean
We,
ending point?
yeah, well, starting point of this conversation, ending point of what the number is.
Okay.
I concur with the gentleman, with both gentlemen.
That's a plural and singular, isn't it? Gentlemen? Gentlemen?
Not the recused gentleman.
Not the recused gentleman. As far as
The
I'm
other two
concerned, that
gentlemen.
one's wearing a cloak of invisibility. He's not there at the moment.
Any other discussion? Good with it? From the board?
I'm fine.
Okay. 3% it is. Okay. So we're back to 49, 326, less
85.
10,475, less 8,500.
That's 758.
So
The
if we add up-
758 is already up there.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, right above the 86. Go ahead.
I'd say in my figures, I included the library. If we take everything from the 3 bullet points on the back plus Brian's table at the top, we're left with 23,697. But someone better check my math because it's my math.
No, that's where I'm. You can see it from there.
What did you have?
No.
23,697.
That's what I come up with too.
Okay.
Then I'm not going to do the math. Enough people did it already. So that would be including the part-time library assistant position.
Yeah. And then now we have to.
And that leaves what? 23?
697.
So we're in the whole 60 grand. Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. I just doubled. I'm giving 6%.
Oh,
Jeez.
Oh no. Like what happened? Like what just happened?
I don't know what.
I was like, did you
No.
just include a public works employee and I didn't hear it? What happened?
This is why I always say double check my math.
No more putting confused.
Right.
I'm gonna rejoin.
Don't yet, please.
no, not there yet.
Please don't yet.
All right, never mind.
Okay. Because we still need to come back to the public works piece. We didn't come back to that. Maybe we're doing nothing, but now we're at 23,697, and we still have that gap.
I was going to say that I am concerned. I remember when the head of the department came before us and discussed the need to add a person, and now we are down a person yet again. And so I have concerns with leaving a position. I'm sure Glenn has a master plan, but I am concerned with leaving a position vacant. I know we may not be able to fund it for the full fiscal year, but if we could do something, even if it's a half the fiscal year for this year and full time the following, or fully funded the following.
Well, I don't think Brian wants us to budget to 23,697 more.
Well, I always say approximate.
Like
Let's
20?
not get that precise.
I think 20 or so is probably safe to use of that. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Which is a start. It's not there, but it's a start. Without making some trades with some other departments, I'm not sure how we get there. I don't know of where else we would have anything to adjust further. Unless anyone has an idea. I didn't go back through revenues, but I know the team
I
did
have an
multiple.
idea, but it's not a good one. So I'm gonna keep it to myself.
I have some ideas, but the departments aren't here, and I don't want to just make rash adjustments to other departments' budgets without having them here to discuss it in the 11th hour either.
What did we talk about cutting the OPEB down to?
0.
Okay, I thought it was we cut it down to something, but that's zero.
Well, last week I recommended we take the rest of it,
Okay.
and that's how we got to a surplus tonight. part of how before we started.
So I guess I would ask, given the situation, is the cadet position necessary in the police department for this fiscal year? I mean, I know we are sending some officers to the academy, and I know that comes with costs, and I don't know like how much is in the academy line versus, so I know that there could be some funds shifting around there to cover those added expenses.
But we're also not in a position to be adding the cadet right now. We need to add officers first, and then
Right.
revisit that later. So Brian helped me public safety, because there's also the firefighter position that isn't filled at the moment that we added last year. That's its own budget line, so
Yes.
if we were having money there, that doesn't help us in public works from a line to line unless we do a end of year transfer.
Correct.
So we could have a
special town meeting
plan for
adjustment.
it, or we could do a special town meeting adjustment to shift money.
Correct.
How about, I'm going to propose something different. How about we add the 20 we have, well, we'll say 20 of surplus to public works, so it's something. It's what we have and raise and appropriate. And then, as well as discussions with the Board of Health, why don't we have public safety join us? Both of them have some positions that aren't filled today, and have a discussion about where and or when and how do they envision that happening in 27? More specifically, we'll give them time to prep, but to come have that conversation. We could always make a floor amendment at the ATM to move 25 from this budget to that budget, or 50 from this budget to that budget. It's a net impact of that article to 0. It's just between the omnibus lines within that general, that's a singular article in our
We do it as
warrant.
one article.
So, like, it's an easy floor amendment. It's not increasing the overall ask. It's just moving which bucket it's in. So that'd give us time to actually have that conversation with them,
That's fine.
and not just make a decision without their input. We all may have opinions. I have opinions. I always have opinions. But I think letting them have an opportunity to also speak with us about it and contemplate what that looks like. Understanding we know this is a gap we've created in 27. We're able to mitigate it. I think we can also have a conversation about whether we're committed to making another adjustment in 28 to adjust for whatever we do. Does that sound like a reasonable path forward?
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
That means we're committing to another joint meeting with finance before the ATM. At least one.
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, yeah.
Not like we're not used to it.
I know. It won't be the night. It won't only maybe be the night of. Okay. So I guess that would be the last change is to move 20 over.
Okay.
To Public Works.
Mhm.
Wages, salary. That gives some movement for a change in role as well, even if it's not an ad in the year. And then Brian and I will speak with Public Safety and have them plan to come.
While Glenn's still here, I mean, is there, and don't mean to put you on the spot, but
That's why he hasn't left yet.
I know, well,
He knows.
shame on him. I was just gonna pose the question is, one, I know Deb's right, you know, you said this is a critical position. Is there, we're looking at other departments, is there any wiggle room in any of your other lines within your own department that you could?
After level funding for the tasks that we have, I don't believe so, Joe.
You wrung that sponge dry? Okay.
Yes,
Worth
to
ask.
keep the projects going, to keep everything moving that's already on the docket. Yeah, unfortunately, no.
I'm sure one of the 10,000 viewers at home might have had that question, so I just wanted to ask it for them.
Good point.
And as I appreciate all your concern and talk, about other departments, I think that's great, but I would hate to take away from other departments' needs if they have needs for them. So I would respectfully ask that we talk to the other departments before any decisions.
I know you wouldn't want us to unilaterally just take money from one to give to another for
Absolutely.
yourself, and I know that. That's why I proposed it that way, because it gives us an opportunity to have the right conversations as a group, and not just make a decision. We ultimately can and may, but that everyone gets to have a voice in that
I appreciate
about the impact and the need. Right? We all work together. You
Mhm.
guys are all out there in the field together. You need to continue to be so, and
Is
help
there
each other
enough-
out.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
Is there enough time next week to get health, public safety,
aren't meeting
everybody
next week.
here with?
Next week's a holiday.
Next Monday's a holiday. It's at least
Oh,
2
so
weeks
we
out.
can't meet on
Look at the
Monday.
happiness on Brian's
He
face.
couldn't wait to tell you next week was out.
So the
Are you
27th.
saying you're tired of us?
It's a joy that
He's
I don't know
got
how
plenty
to
to
describe.
do for the ATM before
Yeah, we have a lot
between.
to do. But yes, no meeting on the 20th unless you choose to do a different day next week. So I
not-
tentatively have you on the 27th.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
I
that
would-
works. That should be enough time to.
Yeah.
I would say give Board of Health a little more time. They've got other towns to talk to as well, and so
Yeah.
if we can try to queue everyone up for the 27th to come.
You got it.
I think my social calendar is chock full next week.
I'm not looking. We all could use a week without a Monday meeting, I'm sure. So, is that a plan? We all agreed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll follow up with those departments.
So we have squeezed every dollar we can out of available funds and adjustments and tweaks and health insurance and everything else. We'll see if there's some more shifts within what we actually have already allocated.
Okay.
So
And any other department who's all of our 10,000 viewers and few dozen departments have thoughts on places where they may have excess that they want to contribute, that's fine too. I don't think there is, but this isn't solely directed at public safety. It's just a couple areas we know there are unfilled positions that may be flexible. So
with all that, we're down to 36.97.
That's the tightest I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I think we're a couple $1,000s away from that the last time. So yeah.
the only other thing too is in the fall is things are getting finalized. We could come back before we set the tax rate if there is additional capacity that we didn't anticipate as we're going through this.
Right.
And have an STM. It would have to be done quickly, but we could have an STM and allocate if there was additional to allocate. So it's a possibility. We don't normally do it, but we don't normally operate this tight either. So, and that doesn't mean there will be any. I don't want to assume there is.
Right.
So, what, that idea?
No, I'm just
Hey, we're starting to have to operate and live a little more like our peers. They are having to make a lot harder decisions than the ones we're discussing. So I don't take it lightly. This is easy in comparison. So
Could I mention before Glenn goes?
absolutely.
Previous comment I said about some people might like that. I've had no complaints about the highway or public works or anybody. But the thought is, people would like to see us trying to do with a little bit less than we really think we need. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, same as a school. If you need more, come back and we'll fund what you need. But at least people see that we're trying to not just inflate the budget without
Absolutely.
consideration. So thank you.
Thank you for that.
And I think back, it reminded me, Jim, when you asked the question of one of the reasons we made some of the changes we made was when we were discussing projects, and I think it was the help me, Glenn, on Ridge Road, the
Oh, the catch basins.
catch basins. Thank you. I wanted to call them something else that wasn't right. The catch basins and the savings alone by doing that in house, and that's part of why we've had and discussed the staffing we have, and so knowing those are the kind of things that save us money, and if we're shorting the team to do that, that isn't helping us.
Right.
in the overall financial picture, big picture. So,
Good point.
thank you, Glenn.
Thank you all.
We'll
I
see you in
appreciate
2
it.
weeks because I'm sure you're going to rejoin us as well. uh, that's it for the memo. We covered everything except the draft budget review requested, the last item.
Yes, please.
So we have.
Oh, sure.
Now you're going to rejoin. Okay, cool. Thank you. I didn't mean
Good catch.
to encourage you to stay out of the meeting, but I didn't think you wanted to partake. So and you have everything from what we just discussed. You're clear on where everything's going because
Yes.
we're going to rely on you to make those adjustments
Yes, we're ready to do so.
for the ATM in a few minutes.
Yes.
The last one is the budget book. So we have ClearGov. Some work to be done on that on the capital side to have that public ready. But then you and the team have been working on it for the town-wide budget.
Brandon has been working very hard.
Thank you, Brandon.
So it's your budget book that you've normally seen, but it's all digital. It has a PDF version, but citizens will be able to navigate through the book just like flipping through a digital document. And it gives a much greater analysis by department with charts and tables about how we've spent money in the past years and what you're proposing for FY27. So for residents who've been looking for a greater deep dive on our budget, they're definitely going to have access to that. It's almost overwhelming in terms of how much data, and so trying to pare it down to something that's actually helpful. But I think it'd be really helpful to have somebody from the select board, somebody from FinCom to help look at that with us. So it's not just our sets of eyes looking at it. Right now, you see it's about 160 pages. So
Yeah, so we're
It's
not
not
going
a
to
small
mail
document.
that like we do in prior years. I think hopefully the goal is to come up with a summarized version to send. Backup plan in my mind was, I know we've done postcards with a link before when it's been more of a large digital document. So I think worst case scenario would be we do that and point people to the digital only,
So we're going to embed
or
the
offer
link.
to print them if people come in and want them, but not try to mail them all.
Right, we were going to embed the link into your warrant packet. We can do the postcard in addition if that made sense.
But yeah,
And we're going to set up the website this week, so everything's ready to go. So when you say it's ready to turn live in the next week, we'll be ready to do so.
But you're looking for a couple sets of eyes to help approve and
Yeah.
finalize the public view, the final public view.
And specifically on the select board side, somebody to work with me just to prepare the budget message. I'll prepare a draft, but somebody just to finalize it on behalf of the board.
And we probably should have someone from Capital willing to look at the Capital one as that gets finalized as well.
As long as I don't have a quorum of capital, because capital is
I
comprised
understand.
of the two boards,
Or a quorum of anybody, yeah.
that makes a challenge for us.
Understood. Well, is that going to be embedded in the budget book or its own separate link and separate?
We've seen it done both ways. We were planning to embed it,
Okay.
so we
So
can
it'd
do
be
it
a
that way.
singular document with all of it in it.
That's how we were approaching it, but
Or
we've seen
single
some
site.
other towns break it up as two separate documents. We hadn't thought to do it that way. But
Interesting. And you guys are currently developing it as one document.
that's the way it's currently presented.
Okay.
So many options, so little time.
Right.
Can be changed in the future. I'd nominate Brandon, but he's doing the work, so he doesn't want to be his own
Right.
proofreader.
Right.
So he's doing a lot of the work. Thank you. So yeah, I think for capital it should be someone else. And
I can stop by after work. How late are you?
Uh,
And what
we-
days?
I can arrange any appointment with you, or we can send you a document if it's better to just have it as PDF, whatever your preference is. If you'd like it in person, then we can absolutely set time with you.
Yeah, I mean, if you could send me a document, I could take a look at it, let you know
Okay.
what I think, and
We can absolutely do that.
I'll do it.
so,
for
so then
FinCom.
I will not do it for the board because that would be a quorum of capital. So
oh, good point.
because you got Brandon and you, so I will not be the one doing it for the board. Did you just volunteer?
I was
for
gonna say I'll
Brandon?
volunteer as tribute for FinCom, but is that
Yeah,
gonna
that's
be a
fine.
quorum problem?
No, because
As long as we're not meeting,
With
oh wait,
Brandon.
you're
With
capital
Brandon,
too.
yeah.
right?
Jeez, that just got complicated fast, didn't it?
It did.
Well, if I'm just looking at it and providing feedback to Brandon, that's not an issue, correct?
Yeah, we're not meeting.
You all can't give feed. It would be
Okay.
members.
If they're not giving you feedback on that section.
I think that's too many hairs.
Too
to split.
granular?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
That's
fair.
fair.
I'd like to navigate.
It's not a
this far
separate
with-
document, so
not a separate
so
document.
I get what you're saying.
So to move this along, I'll take the budget book.
Thank you, sir.
So then it's Thomas or Dan will have to do it, or Kelly, but she's not here, and I know she'll kill me if I just volunteer. So, I'm not going to volunteer.
You don't show up.
Hey, shame on her for not feeling well.
Well, maybe Linda could.
What do you
You don't attend.
No, for FinCom. If you're doing it for Capital.
Right, but if I did, if Linda did it for capital, then you could do it.
I'm sorry.
for FinCom.
What do I do with that?
Why?
What do I do with it?
Isn't that, that's too
Oh
many.
yes, because it's still too
The
many.
same
Deb and I
problem.
can't do it
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I kinda
for
guess.
ours because we're
What
also
does it tell me?
capital. So if we either one of us do it,
Yeah.
Okay.
plus Brandon,
Mm-hmm.
plus Ben. Actually, it's you. It's the three of us. Only one of the three of us can because we'll end up with a capital quorum any other way.
Yeah. So you're good. So it's one of you two gentlemen.
All right, what do you want me to do?
We
Okay,
can set up an appointment with you.
sure.
You got it. Okay.
Okay.
I got my team.
And the expectation is to look it over. Is the presentation
Give
make
us
sense,
feedback.
right?
We'll take care of it.
Be the Citizen Joe and you
Yep.
know kind of
Citizen Joe. Okay,
That's it.
I can probably do that.
not Citizen Kane. I don't know.
Just be citizen.
Joe
Dan.
Public. I don't know. That's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to come up with there.
We just
be
need feedback
yourself.
to make sure that as a citizen approaching it, it makes sense, it reads comprehensively. If there's any immediate issues that you can flag them for us so that we can make those adjustments.
Okay.
And when do you need them back by?
So you all have,
An hour ago.
no, you all have, but not too much further than that. You all have prided yourselves on trying to get this out about a month in advance of town meeting. So town meeting is May 13th. So our goal is to put this as close to in final format this week. So Wednesday we will have it's already drafted. We're going to make the revisions that you've made tonight. The FY27 budget has to be loaded by our software vendor, so that won't appear probably until Wednesday. Probably not even by Wednesday, maybe by Friday the 27th will be in there. But everything else through current, a month ago is in the budget book. Narratives are in there, all the other data is in there. So everything else can be reviewed. The FY27 will be added, like I said, probably by Friday. So
You said 27th, but you didn't mean 27th, right? You meant
No,
Friday.
he meant
This Friday.
FY27
FY.
budget.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said Friday and then 27, and I thought you meant the 27th.
sorry, I should
Which
have
is not a
been
Friday.
clear.
But
Yeah, no,
never
no,
mind.
no.
I'm good.
No, it should be loaded. It takes us about
Okay,
2 days
that's
for them
fine,
to
that's
load the
fine.
data for us, which is a fairly quick turnaround for us.
Okay.
But we didn't have tonight's results until now, so if we get them all loaded and submitted by Wednesday morning, I assume by Friday they'll be live. But in the meantime, everything else is in the system, so we could start reviewing on Wednesday and showing you those documents and getting your feedback, because that portion is not going to change.
And you'd like a final sign off from everyone by?
Next week at the latest, so that I'm not too far off of your intended schedule. We're going to prepare the ATM warrant, depending if you all are ready tonight, later this week to get ready to mail to residents' homes.
Is Wednesday next week is a cutoff? Like by
I think that would be
end
reasonable.
of day?
Sure.
But
Yep.
Probably give hopefully two opportunities, one before the day is loaded and one after,
Right.
at least for you guys to look at it.
Yep.
So, makes sense?
Okay.
End of next Wednesday.
Okay.
A week
Final
from,
feedback. Okay.
yeah, so it's at the 22nd,
Okay.
I think.
Now, we've talked about two different things. You're gonna send it to me and we're talking about meeting. So are there two separate pieces or are you gonna send it to me and ask for
send
my
it to
review
you.
and then?
But if you would also like to meet, I'm happy to do that for all three of you. If you would rather us just send it to you and leave you alone and you'll get back to us with feedback, that's fine. If you would prefer to also come in, happy to do that too. I just need to know your preferences.
I will review and meet,
Send it?
Brian. Review and meet.
Perfect. We will do both. I will send it to you.
Review and meet's fine.
You
Just
got it.
please call me. I
got
do a few other things, so if I get
One or two.
texts and emails, I may see them get lost in the hundreds. Pick up the phone and please call me, and I'll
You got it.
come right in.
You
Thanks.
got it. Okay? We'll
right.
get it done.
Send it out, let you know when it's there, schedule a time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Finish it by Wednesday, the 22nd. Okay. That's budget book
Yes.
and capital book, we'll call it. And the final budget numbers, barring any shifts. Next one is the annual town meeting warrant.
So you all received a red line version, and then the board, for some reason when we just printed it for you, it's now showing in shades of blue.
The
I
blue
apologize
line version.
Blue and darker blue.
That's the one you have or got.
So I'm just gonna walk through the changes for you. And for the FinCom folks who like printed packets, that should be redlined. But it doesn't include the feedback from council that I just received before the meeting, so I'll just read that off to you.
This one has council. The blue and
Yes.
blue has council.
Yes.
So one blue line is the changes from last meeting. One is from council.
Correct, and I'm gonna tease them out for you as I go.
Perfect.
So starting with, and I finally gave them all article numbers, so now I can refer to article numbers if that's helpful. So Article 2 was a bill of a prior year. I have that listed as a majority vote. Council just flagged that to say as long as there were sufficient funds to pay in FY25, there were. So majority vote is sufficient, unless you would like me to rank that higher. The next threshold will be 9/10. But again, we had sufficient funding that year. So is majority vote fine?
Majority vote.
Thank you. There were no changes to Articles 4, 5, 6.
Article 1 changed, by the way. Did they add the word year? Can't tell what that is. Is it a
Yes,
typo?
it just adds the word year to the title. Thank you for catching that. No changes in any of those. So moving on to Article 9, I will update that with all the changes you just made with today's budget and break them out in the omnibus.
Okay.
Article 10, I left that blank only because I was waiting for you to make a decision on the base wage adjustment so I can apply that to the 3 elected officials who get adjusted in that same manner. So I will make those changes as well. And just for clarification, the way that we're handling the treasurer, you obviously have a ballot question on the town meeting election ballot to ask the voters if they will approve that change from elected to appointed. We're still going to put the treasurer's compensation in the elected officials article in the event that the voters don't approve it. So I guess my question to you all for guidance,
Be a step 1.
I'm going to do it at step 1.
I mean, it'd be a new person, a new position, right?
Okay.
So I think without, it would be elected at that point.
Yep.
So I think there's no
Sure.
criteria to do anything different, right?
Step 1.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's the number I'm going to put in there. So that
Agreed.
allows me to finish this article. So thank you. So I will do that
At the hours it is.
currently. Okay. And that doesn't change your budget. It just means in that one scenario, maybe it would end up being less. You
Be a
would have
surplus.
You have surplus in that budget.
I just have one question about the hours if it's going to remain elected.
Mhm.
If I'm remembering correctly, we had increased that position's hours. We did it for one fiscal year because of the software project, and then we were supposed to meet and revisit that the following fiscal year to see if those hours would remain permanent. That rest of that never happened. And so I question that increase was done in part because of a specific project. Do those hours still need to be those hours?
Fair question. I don't know the answer to that at this exact moment.
Well, I mean, one was to do the project. The other one was to assist with procurement, which
I
if
was just
that's
gonna
not
add that.
happening, then those hours aren't needed. And the project's largely implemented. There's things that still need to be done, but they aren't something that happens quickly or has a ton of extra time tied to it, I don't think.
So my question is, that just kind of fell through the cracks that we were supposed to have that conversation moving forward. So I just question is now, if it is going to be someone new, is now the time to reset that and have that conversation?
Do you remember what we changed from and to?
It was from approximately 25 hours to 30.
To 30. I don't see any reason not to change it back to 25 for now. If it's going to be elected, we can revisit after someone's in the role if there's other duties to take on and make an adjustment like we did last time.
Yep.
If it's becomes appointed, then we're going to go through a process to define that better, and we have set a budget that will allow for that to be different.
Right.
Okay, 'cause I was just going to ask that. So what we're setting here under the headline of elected does not affect what may happen if it's appointed.
No.
Right.
So we're not locking in, if we're putting in that the salary is X amount, we're not locking that into shift. The appointed is completely different.
Correct.
Okay.
So regardless in either scenario, the budget you've presented will have sufficient capacity for
Okay.
either scenario. This just would allow, if the voters don't approve it at the ballot box,
To be appointed.
it would allow it, correct, it would allow it to continue as elected,
Yeah.
but this would be setting the compensation for that elected position on July 1st.
Okay, perfect.
So it's sort of like a,
And the-
plan A, plan B.
I just, yeah, and I just wanted to make sure that whatever we were doing for plan A wasn't going to, I know for the appointed, we had left a little bit of wiggle room depending on if someone came in
That's
with
correct.
experience. So I just wanted to make sure we weren't doing anything to negatively affect that.
Nope, good clarification. In worst
It
case,
would be a place we might have excess funding if that didn't go through, because
Correct.
we've set compensation less than the budget,
Yeah.
where we'd have a surplus because it wouldn't be spent. So it might be an opportunity to move funds. So some of the other needs we have, if that's where we are, come mid-May.
okay. So I will, based on this feedback, I will be able to finish that article. So thank you.
Good catch, Jeff. Thanks.
So
Actually, we'll know by ATM.
yeah,
So
you're
it is
on
another
Monday night.
potential we could stage up for a floor amendment if we wanted to. We'd have to go revisit 9
Oh, we will know by
and move
18.
money
That's
because we
right.
would know then if that is the budget that we need or if we have a need capacity for an appointed position.
Correct.
So, something we can define as well and talk about being prepared for.
Okay.
School is not new. It's just all highlighted because you filled it in. Well, it's the numbers are new. Is that what it is?
What is?
Oh, I jumped ahead. No,
Which article
11.
you on? 11 is the school. So I did add those numbers in there. So that's your
But that's the only thing that's new is the numbers are in there, right?
correct. Okay. Yep. Same for Article 12, secondary. Article 13, obviously the tech school, same. Basically all the numbers in there. We hadn't fully settled for Article 14 for the water department. I know we've had a lot of conversation about what you may consider for a water rate formula, and you're not setting the rate tonight. But I do need to know, because it will inform that conversation, what I'm supposed to be scheduling for a transfer to capital stabilization. Last year, we just basically level funded the water department, and there was a capacity of about $13,000, so that was the number that was used in that line item. We've had a little more thoughtful conversation about planning for future debt services and things of that nature. And I know that we are not going to ramp up maybe to where you want to be this year in a single move. And I know you've all talked about maybe a staggered approach or something of that nature. So to finish this article and balance this out, I do need guidance on that line.
So I'm clear, even if we made no planned transfer to capital beyond the other article of retained earnings, the board, when we do set the water rate, could still set a higher rate, generate higher revenues, and then have a surplus retained earnings to move in there in the future. In theory.
Ish. The way that the article is presented, you're asking the voters to vote on what the revenue structure is going to be and what the proposed expenditures are going to be
So
allowed.
we are in effect setting rate to a point.
We're not setting the exact rate. Again, some things could change, but these are your typical sources of where that revenue is coming from. And so while something may adjust slightly and inform that final rate, we should stick largely to what obviously is being presented and voted on.
So I think in future years we should plan to set the rate a little earlier. Because
Okay.
we're backing into it one way or another.
Yeah.
What we do here is backing into a rate decision. Effectively.
Sure.
Because we can't decide to add 50,000 in capital later in the rate
Fair.
based on what you explained. Because this is supposed to balance. And rate charges is part of it.
Fair.
So for future years, we probably want to think about that in March or April, or February.
As you say that, isn't it amazing growth that we're at the point
my
where
God.
it wasn't being discussed for many years, and now
We never even talked about the rate in past years.
Right.
Does anyone have an opinion? I mean, I have an opinion, but I want to hear what everybody else thinks about Are we trying to fit some? Are we trying to plan some transfer to capital stabilization right now? That is going to be incorporated into use charges for water in the coming fiscal year, or are we not quite there yet?
It's okay for now.
I personally don't want to back into this process as you just mentioned it. If we want to do that, I'd prefer to give it some time and change the fiscal year to 2028 as opposed to 2027.
To make the change in fiscal
Right.
28, not in 27. If I heard you correctly. Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay.
I hadn't even thought about it.
So, if that's where you all are, should I just base it on how we structured it for the past year?
Yeah, I would say so.
Is that going to be a decrease from where it was? It's going to be an increase year over year at all? Off the top of your
I
head?
mean, it's going to be nominal in terms of changes in user charges. And so largely it's going to be almost a level funded budget. We're going to balance it out, probably balancing it off of the capital outlay. It's a small budget, so if we need to make up something on the expenditures or the expenditure side, we would just reduce what would be transferred to capital outlay.
Are you guys good with that?
I'm trying to fast forward in the warrant so I can read something else to just check something. We have capital funding coming out of that account already for FY27, correct? I'm scrolling way too fast and I can't
Yes.
find the article.
It's approximately 31,000, I believe, for
it-
Lillian's Way.
Yep,
Coming out of capital?
yep.
Water capital?
And so I would assume that there is sufficient funding in that account right now to cover that.
That is correct.
Because we did the transfers in the special?
And even in this article, you're proposing transferring another 100,000.
Okay. I guess for me, I know Brandon worked with Pete on it. I'd like to see a formal recommendation from the department head as to what his thoughts are and when this should go into effect. I think in general, no one's going to like it, and it's unfortunate, but I think at some point we have to make the decision to move forward with it.
I'm just looking back as you were making the comment to follow on that about transfer to capital had a number in it and it would be changed. So then I was thinking it was zero. It wasn't zero. Last year it was 13,770.
Yeah.
That we transferred in as part of the operating charges.
Correct.
Does anybody have the proposed 27 wages and expenses for water handy?
Pulling it up right now.
Okay. I'm just curious how far it differs from last year so we understand what that's going to do to the 13.7. Because I'd be inclined to at least want to do as much capital as we did last year, not less. So I don't really want to I don't want to balance the budget by putting less in capital this coming year. That doesn't sound like a good plan. Because the way that article is built. We have $2,000 investment income, and I don't remember, Brandon, if you know off the top of your head, was that like similar to what you had factored in before? I don't know if we had it. I know I'm putting you on the spot because you're here.
So we anticipated we had 13,680 for the transfer. We had ordinary expenses in 67,755.
For FY27?
And we had 30,417 for anticipated wages and salary.
And we expect that'll go up a little bit, because that doesn't include the adjustment.
That does not include the adjustment.
That's a union, so we'll see what that comes out to later, but some adjustment.
So we have a
So,
full budget based on that of 125,622.
$125.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get to 125? 30, 67, and 13, right?
Why is it saying 125? That's a good question.
Is there a special article being tabulated in there if you're in Zobrio? Go to the subtotal below that, maybe?
Yes.
Yes?
Mhm.
Okay. So largely, it's similar to last year, save for salary and wage adjustments.
Correct.
So capital will go down by whatever that change is. We put 13,770 approximately in there last year. So if we wanted to put at least that again, we would increase it by a few $1,000s from what it was last year, the overall. And so the user fees would go up accordingly, which would be minor. I'd be fine proposing that we make the capital transfer at least 15 or maybe 20, which is a slight increase over last year. It's not nearly as large as we probably need to get to, but it's something, and it's in the positive direction versus going down. I don't know what you guys think. It's not very scientific, but it's a small change, so.
So you're proposing the transfer would be 13,770. You would increase it to 15 from 13,770.
Yes, or 20, somewhere 15 or 20. So I'm looking for preference. And then the overall budget would be adjusted accordingly for that and the wage changes, and that would be the increase over the prior year.
So knowing what we have on the horizon, would we want to set it closer to 20? Like you said, it's not going to get us all the way there, but gets us part of the way there.
A little bit. Capital. What do you all to say? Maybe first.
I'm okay with 20.
Anybody against 20? Opposed? Okay. Figure out with a 20 transfer.
Do it right now.
Expenses as proposed, and then the total expenditures accordingly. For the ATM tonight, to try to layer in all the changes we just discussed and have it ready, number-wise, I think is probably unrealistic because you got to layer in all the wage adjustments and everything. What I would propose as we finish going through the warrant is that if we are satisfied with the numbers plus the wage adjustments and the other adjustments we've discussed tonight, that we approve it as amended, knowing those numbers are going to come in on the amended, and then we're ready to sign it when it's finalized later this week for the board and recommend it as discussed. Is that reasonable with everyone? Because I think trying to have the numbers fleshed out and in there exact in print tonight is unrealistic.
Yeah.
Okay. But we all know what's going into those numbers and what that means. And then we're all aligned.
Okay.
Can I just ask one question? Because this just made me think of it, so not to totally derail. Backing way up, the position for the library, did we also account, and in the wage adjustments, did we also account for the 20% for materials? Or can we just make sure that that is in there once we do all the calculations?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll gross that up another.
Sorry, I don't know why
Everybody's
this
okay.
made me think of it, but
Yes. No, I'm glad you said that.
No, we brought it up as it was a way that we slowly built a deficit. We don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we all acknowledge and know.
Okay.
And if that means we need to decrease what we're trying to add to Public Works a little bit because we had to take too much of that $3,600, then so be it.
So
Agreed?
if I need the balance, take it from what we're transferring to Public Works.
If you don't have enough in
If I
what's
don't.
left.
Yep. Okay.
Okay? Okay. Okay, so back to,
And it's a working number, so I want to double check it one more time. But based on the 20,000 and the numbers we talked about, removing that article that was counted twice, Jake was right about that. Your water department operating budget would be 118,262. So I just want to verify that one more time.
about $7,200 more than it was last year.
Right.
So 111 to 118. Roughly. So that's approximately the proposed water, wastewater.
So wastewater, I had already factored in the charge to Montague,
Okay.
but I needed to finalize our
You
conversation
just need to back
tonight.
in the rest
I'm gonna
of
back
the.
in the rest of those numbers.
Okay.
Yep. So that gets us through 15. We'd already reviewed 16. There's no change there. And 17. Those are your FY27 recurring articles. And you all asked me to zero out OPEB, so that's the change. Everything's been adjusted accordingly. 18 no change, 19 no change, 20 no change. On Article 21, that's your revolving accounts. Council just asked that I add that or any relative action there too. Apparently that was missing, so we will add that back in.
Which one was that?
That is on Article 21. These are your revolving fund articles.
Oh, yep.
I do have really quick on this topic a question. So I was meeting with Dulcie earlier this week, and we were having a conversation. The revolving funds for the senior and community center have been underutilized in the past. I think we've had the same article on for 7-8 years at this point. We were having a conversation about the types of programs she's trying to bring in and how sort of like the rec department would do. If you bring in a program and there's a fee to participate in the program, and then you use that funding to pay the vendor who's offering the program, how could that be structured? And so I explained that would typically run through the revolving fund. The revolving funds that we have for the center are very tight, and they're very specific. So
And they're
we had
use-
set one up for the food service program. Again, somebody comes in, prepares the meal, you pay for the meal, that works fine. The other one was specifically for facility use, but we don't have one that allows just for that program participation. And so I know having that conversation with Dulcie, there was a question that she posed. Would it make sense to just ask for an amendment to the description of one of these revolving funds, probably the facility use one, to allow that to be a little broader like it would like for the rec department? So if she was to structure a program, there's a fee to participate, there's a vendor that needs to be paid, that's not coming out of the operating budget, that would instead come out through the revolving fund.
Is there a reason why she can't just have one? Like, why does it have to be so specific? Can she just have one? And then whether it be it's a meal or it's a program or it's someone rented the building. And I mean, to me, it's still all under the heading of the senior community center. So
This is just how we have it set up. It's 53 E&a-half revolving funds are local choice and brought to town meeting. What I will say is that if we were to amend these, so maybe this is not the right time to do it, we have to amend the bylaw. It's that two-step process.
yeah,
So it's something she wanted me to bring to your attention, something she's trying to do programmatically. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Because one is establishing it and one is the annual setting of the limit.
This is just
Yeah.
setting the
And then if we were to consolidate or change, we also then would have to transfer any funds that are in it to a future one.
right.
it'd be
Debbie
three
would
steps
need to
to it.
clean up
Okay.
the books.
okay.
So
So yeah, I think
I
maybe
think
if you do a
there's
special,
more to it. I don't think it's as simple as
Yeah.
deciding tonight. Probably, I think you raise a good point. Maybe there's a reason to keep food separate, but I think library, and I'm going to presume that use and fees covers program fees. It covers everything.
yeah,
And so
Yeah.
we have facility use when we just add fees on the end, and whether we need a food one separately or not,
Yeah.
I think we need to determine that.
Yeah.
right.
So
Maybe an item for a future town meeting.
yeah, I don't think we're ready to add all
Yeah.
the stuff. We'd have to do it right now, but
Yeah.
we could do it in a special, right?
Okay.
We just have to do it before July 1 for the year, right?
Correct.
So
Yep.
we could still make a change if we have a special before July 1.
Okay. I just wanted to flag it as we're going through.
So I think circling back to Dulcie though, what I just heard is we want to hear from her what she would recommend having, understanding what the possibilities are,
Okay.
what funds and what limits would she request having if we're looking at it holistically and changing it.
I will give her that guidance. Thank you. Article 22 has been amended. It's got your general stabilization request for a transfer. It also, and because of that, it's a 2/3 majority vote for this approval to go through. There's also a free cash. I did change the amount. Free cash needed to be reduced because there's an article up front in the warrant packet that was satisfying a deficit in the grant fund, $68,000. So that has been resolved. And because we don't want to get down to the penny, I just rounded it to $1,030,000. Hopefully that's appropriate. So I made that revision on that article. No adjustments to Article 23. No article adjustments to Article 24.
Before we keep going,
Yeah.
back to 2019. Sorry, 19. It's an appropriation for FY27 wastewater capital projects. Then it's moving it into wastewater system stabilization fund. Is it capital stabilization fund? Because in water, it's the water system capital stabilization. In wastewater, it's wastewater system without the word capital.
Oh, then I will add the word
It's
capital.
missing, correct? Because
Correct.
later when we do a transfer or appropriate out of, I think it says wastewater system capital. Like if I compare titles of
Got it.
19 and 24,
It's missing the word
they're different
capital. So Article 19 will amend to add the word capital.
to the
Second line.
the subject language, the language of the article.
Yep. We will make that adjustment. Good catch.
And in the title, do you want to add system or no? It's like
Sure.
just looking at 19 versus 24, it's probably the same with water. The titles say water system capital and wastewater system capital in the next set of articles, but not in
Well-
the first set.
Yeah. If you feel like the
I would
So
just
we're-
want to be consistent.
so the fund, to your point, is the water or wastewater system capital stabilization fund. So that is accurate.
For
What
the
you're
fund.
doing
Oh,
in both
okay.
of these
Never
is to
mind.
appropriate for your
I
project.
see what you're saying.
But if you want it in there, we can do that.
Never mind. I
Okay.
retract my title amendment for
So the titles
1920.
are fine. We'll fix the body of 19.
Thank you.
You got it.
And the article info too.
Yes, and I will
20.
pare down the article info on 20.
Or on
20.
19, I'm sorry.
On 20.
And on 19, you need to add capital to the article info.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
21 we discussed. 22 we discussed. So we were down to 24 is the same as it was last week when you reviewed it. 25 is the standard opioid settlement transfer. Quick question on that one. We went through all that work at town meeting to ask the voters to create the stabilization fund, and then immediately after the legislature created a new law that allowed a special revenue fund that was not permissible prior to that. Are you okay keeping the opioid stabilization fund the way it is and doing this action every town meeting, or do you want us to explore what it would take to go to a special revenue fund? Keep it the same?
Keep it the same.
You got it. 26 is your PEG access. No changes there. On Article 27,
I have a short question.
yes, sir.
The funds in the PEG access, can the funds in the PEG access be used for anything else?
Though with that being said, it's broadly interpreted to be either the professional contracting services, equipment, anything necessary to allow the public access, the educational use, or the governmental use of the local access chain. So I do have a note on 27 from council that was just saying that if this is a lease to own, which this is, it does require 2/3, not just a simple majority vote. And then he had proposed some slightly different wording on that. Are you amenable to? Because that is my understanding of the plan for the Wacker one.
It's a lease to own, yeah.
Yep. So we will change the vote article to say 2/3 majority for approval
And adjust the language per the recommended.
per council's recommendation. We'll make that adjustment.
It does say purchase and maintenance. There's really no funding for maintenance. This is just purchase, right?
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah. I need to go back and look at the details of that proposal.
Okay. We should just confirm because I think it's purchase. I don't think there's any, or lease. It's really for the
Right.
lease to own purchase. But I don't believe there's any maintenance in the agreement. So it's just purchase.
Okay.
So that we should strike that as well.
We'll strike that as well. Okay. So I'll make that adjustment.
Same in the article info. It's got it too.
Yes, it will grab it in both the body and the article info.
Thank you.
On 28, we struck capital planning recommendation.
And I can't tell what's happening in the title there. It says agree me, and then it's all blued out. So is it supposed to be like an adjustment to make it agreement?
There was, for some reason, it didn't get flagged before, but there was and then the T had been reversed for some reason, so it's been corrected.
But it's going to say agreement.
It says agreement. It's just blue on blue, so you can't see it. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't open it in there. So
Yep.
my contacts are not doing it justice in that.
No, I'm not either. That's why I'm
Got it.
doing both at the same time.
On Article 29, Council's only feedback was to add or take any other action relative thereto. Similar to Article 30. So those are your two borrowing authorities. And then on Article 31, the Museum Committee proposed bylaw. Council does have some feedback. The recommendation,
Before you go there,
Yep.
29, does that language allow us to fund it from any source, including borrowing?
currently it's just borrowing. I've been waiting on feedback from bond council.
On.
Any additional edits to language?
Okay. I thought we were talking about going back to one of our other articles where we had, like the library, I think it was used as an example where we had any funding source, borrow and or any funding source, so that we could pivot later if we chose to.
Okay.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So make that necessary change.
Yeah.
You got it. So I got 29 through 30, 31.
30 you were talking about and I interrupted you.
Hmm?
Or it's
No,
the
we're
same.
not-
No, except for 31, yeah.
We're on 31.
Okay. So we're going to, okay.
You want the same language in 30, right? So 29 and 30 have the same flexibility?
I don't know. Is that a yes? I looked at everybody
thought-
else. Is it both?
Yeah, I thought we wanted that
Okay.
flexibility.
That's
so
fine. I don't remember, so that one I don't remember.
Yes.
That's good. So both, yes.
Okay.
Moving on.
Section 1, section 5. Is page 13, bottom. Under frequency, council. So this is, I'll read it to you. Council is suggesting maybe removing the frequency requirement. Consider cutting this requirement. If the committee misses a meeting for some reason, it is technically in violation of the bylaws, but with no means of enforcement, this will just provide a situation where maybe there's complaints or malcontent. So I think the spirit of why we put that in there was to make sure that there was an active body moving. And I would say that the current committee maintains this or exceeds it. So
I would defer to the advice of council.
Do we want to strike it or say something that's not shall? Our favorite word of this year. Like intends to or generally meets, like that's as may be changed from time to time.
I mean, we don't dictate. I don't believe it's in the bylaw of any other committee how often they have to meet, is it?
Right.
no, but I would also offer that you have very limited bylaws on other boards and commissions, and that tends to be a place of
Contention.
disappointment because we don't have the guidance that maybe other towns have because the bylaws are a little more to date. So we were trying to bring more formality and more guidance to boards and commissions as we're going, but it's possible we swung too far in the other direction.
I don't know. Is will generally give you some out in it?
Sure.
Some language.
I was going to say, if we mandate it, which would create a violation of the bylaw, is there any structure in the bylaw for punitive measures should we choose to enact them? No.
No, this is also
So
Right.
it's a paper tiger.
Mhm.
So it's pointless. So shall or may generally meet.
Well, yeah.
Generally meets.
Generally meets. Committee generally
Fewer
meets
words.
at least quarterly.
Less print. Save paper.
Or will
Okay.
generally meet? I mean,
Will generally?
Right.
That's fun.
generally meets.
So shall will be changed to will generally.
Generally, the committee generally meets at least quarterly.
Okay.
With
meant to
additional
be guidance.
meetings if necessary.
Okay.
Perfect.
And then the final guidance on council from that would be section 7. He's proposing just removing section 7. Without getting into great detail, he just says that there are state and federal laws that address how that can be conducted, and it shouldn't be done without the advice of council. So.
Got it. And so that would fall under the powers of the select board and the process required.
Correct.
There too. Okay. I'm good with it. You guys are?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so I'll strike that. And then Article, because it's blue.
5C and a half.
Article 32. This is your Chapter 59, Section 5C and a half, that you all discussed at great length last week meeting. I said it at 100%. That was my understanding from the deliberation, and that you wanted it to take effect on July 1st of 2026. Did I capture that correctly? Okay.
Yep.
And council had no feedback on that one?
The language is up to 100%, right? And then the board sets the percentage, correct?
No.
Because we can do it and change it.
Town meeting.
It's town meeting. 5C and a half was
So
town
that
meeting.
was the clarification we figured out at the last meeting.
Okay.
That-
Forgetful that.
The adjustment was the voters.
Oh, legislative body. I
Legislative
remember
body,
that
yep.
conversation. Okay, thank you. Yep.
Yep.
Good.
Any further changes to that one? And then on Article 33, this is the proposed adoption of Clause 17E.
Mm-hmm.
And that would also take effect on July 1st. Council again had no feedback on that one. And then in the final article, proposed Article 34, this would be your adoption of Clause 41D. Again, to take effect on July 1st of 26. And council had no feedback on this one.
Any other questions or concerns on the warrant?
Yes.
I have one too.
Oh.
No, I don't. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering whether or not capital should vote on Article 14 and 15
You just skipped my next
for the capital stabilization.
You beat me to my next question, which is going to be, is capital good with all the articles that have capital's name under them, and same for finance, before you all make your motions.
Yeah, I can see us voting on those, 14 and 15.
Thank you.
What? I didn't catch that. What was that then?
Yeah, add us to the.
Yes, to add us. Okay.
Yep, 14 and 15.
Okay, we will make that change.
Are you looking for a motion from capital at this point?
If you're good with the warrant as amended and want to recommend the articles as noted,
For capital, I would make a motion to recommend the articles as noted
Do we have
that
a
we
second?
approve.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
on the amended warrant.
We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Okay.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Finance, same.
I'm gonna
Question?
throw it out there to the finance committee. Do we feel we need to weigh in on the museum bylaw? On the museum committee bylaw?
No.
Okay.
So we'll remove you from there.
Yes, please.
You got it? Now add select board as the submitting body.
On museum.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Does FinCom have a motion? Crickets.
To motion to accept, what's the wording of the warrant as written or as
As amended.
amended?
Amended.
To recommend. Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, anything else? We heard all the last amendments. There's a lot of them tonight, but I think we got them all. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the annual town meeting warrant for Wednesday, May 13th as amended?
I will make that motion that we approve the annual town meeting warrant for Wednesday, May 19th, 2026.
May
13th.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
19th.
Wow. It's been a long week.
You said so moved, right? No.
Did I say so
I
moved?
kind of started that way. It's all
I
good.
think I said so moved.
Oh, that was the
As amended.
approve the as amended for Wednesday, May 13th. Okay. Moved,
Second.
seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So we'll get that ready for your signature.
I feel like
Sounds
we
good.
need fireworks or something now. Like
Man, this year?
there need like confetti poppers.
I think there's been
something.
enough fireworks this year.
I
Ooh,
think that now is sufficient celebration.
maybe after the meeting?
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Touche. All right.
Are you gentlemen resuming?
Is the joint work over? Are we letting you go? Yes, we are.
Make
Might
a
as
motion
well. We're
to
going to see you next week anyway.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
make a motion to adjourn the joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen, Finance Committee, and Capital Planning Committee, and the Selectmen will resume their regular scheduled meeting.
At 8:53 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Got excited. Somebody else was going to call it for a second there. I forgot I had to do that one too. I said I was pausing, waiting for like Deb to call it too, because she made the motion. I was like, oh, somebody else can do it. I was like, oh wait, I still need to call the vote. And just to confirm, the 4th, no, the 27th at 7 p.m. Right?
I've added to
With
the
finance?
calendar, so yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
We'll see you then.
So I'll be here.
Excellent. Thank you all.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Okay, you as well. We got them all.
Yep.
Yikes. That's just weird. Okay.
Lots of
I know you'll fix it. The break was funny, and I just want to make sure
Yeah,
it was
I will
actually
fix
there.
all the breaks as
know
I go
you will.
through.
Yep, that's fine. Okay. Continuing on with our business. Review and potential vote regarding gasoline and diesel fuel procurements. There it is.
Let me give the summary.
I'm just trying to get back to my packet where I was because I was in the wrong place. I've got it now. Is there any questions on it?
I have no concerns.
No, neither.
No concerns.
Here either.
We just have 2 different vendors.
Okay. One of you like to make a motion?
Sure. I'll make a motion to award the procurement of unleaded gasoline to Dennis K. Burke Incorporated of Taunton, Massachusetts for fiscal year 2027, beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30, 2027, with the options to renew for fiscal years 2028, 2029, and to authorize Brian Smith, Town Administrator, to execute all necessary agreements.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I make a motion to award the procurement of diesel fuel to Sprague Operating Resources, LLC, of Portsmouth, New Hampshire for fiscal year 2027, beginning July 1st, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027, with the options to renew for fiscal years 2028 and 2029, and authorize Brian Smith, Town Administrator, to execute all necessary agreements.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Review of the Water Department proposal for meter reading software and equipment upgrades. Yes,
We
sir.
skipped one by accident.
Did I skip?
Veteran Services.
Oh, you're right. I didn't skip it, but I need to get back to it. All right, let's go to that one first.
Veterans?
We're going to jump back to number 6 in our packet. Review and approval of the Upper Pioneer Valley Veteran Services Intermunicipal Agreement with the City of Greenfield.
I'll make a motion to engage the City of Greenfield for participation in the Upper Pioneer Valley Veteran Services District for a term of 2 years, effective July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2028, and to authorize Jacob Smith, Select Board Chair, to sign the agreement as presented.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then back to, or on to, review of the Water Department proposal for meter reading software equipment upgrade. Pete, can you come on up? I'm going to recuse on this discussion because we're probably going to be talking about the software. So
857.
I will take off my board hat and I'll put on my IT hat if there's IT questions.
All right. So we have a proposal memo in front of us, and we have some information. Wanna give us an overview?
This is for the Neptune software.
Yeah.
So the last question was whether or not that I know is the single source sign-on issue. Is that, are we good with that?
So that's the question. So the budget was approved at town meeting in the amount of $13,680. Obviously, between the time of the quotes and where we are today, there's a slight change in price. So the current quote for the exact same thing that we were working on 18 months ago is $14,137.49. Something that we had been asking for, as we've been doing with all of our other platforms, is the single sign-on that Pete was talking about, and that's just an integration with our Active Directory. We received a lot of mixed information as we were working with the vendor that delayed us getting to this point, where sometimes we were told they do have it, other times they were told we didn't have it. And then about 2 weeks ago, we finally received a quote proposal from the vendor who is the authorized reseller for Neptune. It's much higher than I personally was expecting, and even in comparison to some of our other projects on scale, seems like a very significant investment. The quote came in at $9,696. Part of that's a one-time implementation fee, and then the annual recurring would be $2,237.
Just to have it integrate with AD?
That's why I'm stuck. I tried to call Neptune directly. That was probably 3 weeks ago now. Nobody's called me back.
I have a contact.
At Neptune?
Yeah, because I got an answer from them before we got the answer from TI, and that's why we got the answer back from them, is because Neptune called TI and had them send it to us.
Got it.
That's what triggered that, because you had asked me where I was at, and I had been going direct to Neptune to get an accurate answer on whether it was even available. And I finally did, and they offered a demo and some other stuff with our local vendor, whatever, and I said I was just trying to get clarity because there seemed to be some confusion, and all of a sudden they were sending quotes
Right.
or updating us. So I might have a contact from that standpoint to try to understand it better. But to answer what you just said, yes. Not really sure what $7,500 in integration is actually,
Right.
funding. The recurring, from what I can tell, they, in my discussions with them, and I know you guys discussed it with them separately, so I think it'll be hopefully consistent information, was they don't scale based on user count. It's just flat rate.
Right.
So to me, the annual cost is high, but it's not unusual. It's not unusually high. It's just on the higher side.
But the implementation cost.
But the implementation, most of the implementation is done on our side,
That's what I was.
or at least
struggling
half
with.
and half, and
Yeah.
to make it work. So I don't. That seems odd to me.
And of
On top of
all the other systems that we've implemented in the past year and a half with single sign-on, this is the highest proposal that I recall.
I don't know what it was in Civic. It was buried in all the costs. There were so many costs that I think it was closer to that number, to the recurring number, but not the implementation.
Not the implementation. Yeah.
I don't know if anyone has charged us an implementation, and if they have, it's been sub 3,000 maybe
Correct.
before.
Correct.
I think there's a lot of value in a single sign-on because it takes away some of the challenges and steps and security, but it's a lot of money up front. The annual, from an IT perspective, and it doesn't strike me as a significantly high cost, but the upfront, and we're paying $5,000 for them to set up and train in the web system on top of that.
Right.
So you're spending, you spend $25K if it was all of that, and almost more than half of it is implementation fees. It seems unusual.
So,
I don't know if there's any room to negotiate that, or what is it?
I have a
Did
question.
I say that wrong?
No, I have a question about what you said as far as the 5 for the training.
It says
I
set
thought
up and
originally in the
training.
beginning the train was part of the deal. They're saying
Yeah,
So
it's a
what-
cost in.
What I'm saying is in the first quote, which has gone up to 14 instead of 13, which was the
Right.
licensing and the receiver belt clip and the training and setup,
right.
it's a $4,900 training and setup fee. So there's $5,000 in training and setup in that quote, and then there's $7,500 in implementation for the single sign-on by itself. It's more to implement the single sign-on than the training and setup in the whole cloud system.
Yeah.
Which makes zero sense. So combined, you're spending $13,000 for setup and training across the whole thing.
Okay.
so you may have just answered my question.
I don't know if there's any opportunity to move that number because they've quoted it separately and everything, and you didn't get anything back yet.
No. The one thing I would say, because I'm very much in favor of having the single sign-on and having that security as you were discussing. With that being said, we can't wait much longer on this project. We had trouble getting the spring reading completed because our existing equipment is at the end of its useful life. We were able to find some spare parts and to get it to work, and we got through. But I don't want it to be the fall, and we're still going back and forth with them over single sign-on. And then we do have a failed reader.
All right, so I'm going to ask our IT administrator this question. This
I
package.
don't think that's what the job says. No.
what's-
No, kidding.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. I'm teasing. You're fine. You're fine. Go ahead.
This does not live in our environment.
It's cloud service, software as a service, cloud.
Do we have without getting too granular, do we have sufficient controls in place to prevent outside access? In a hypothetical situation where somebody is separated from employment from our town, would they still be able to utilize their credentials
In this said system,
in this environment?
until that was additionally disabled manually, yes. It will be an additional administrative step to disable a user or offboard a user.
And so we would have to make sure that
It's another one of the and don't forgets on the list of
well
offboarding.
documented procedures. Not that I expect anybody to be separated from employment
Voluntarily or otherwise. It's
through, no,
not,
I'm just
yeah.
thinking, in the world that we live in, the benefits of Active Directory takes care of that.
And I think generally the IT roadmap has been to try to leverage and implement everywhere that possible and to look at all new software engagements, services, platforms as a must-have or nearly must-have. I think there's been a few where it hasn't had it, but it's usually on the requirement list
Right.
and has to be agreed to drop. But normally we're trying to get it.
I could certainly see baking annual fees into budgets moving forward at that number. That doesn't bother me, but for some reason, I think I'm where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask the board, and I mean, you're probably going to ask it right back to me, but between the budget that is for this, right, is obviously doesn't quite cover the setup and license count for Neptune as it is.
Right.
If we add on the software costs, that's more funding we don't have a funding source for today. It not in the water budget.
There's software capacity in the budget for recurring costs, but there's not.
In the water budget?
Yeah.
For that recurring cost?
We didn't plan for quite that much, but there's capacity in that budget. We do not have the implementation funding.
So the budget could handle the 22 or whatever the annual recurring, but not the implementation of the SSO piece.
Yep.
From a security point of view, would you be comfortable moving forward without single sign-on with the consideration, or is it even possible? We might not have this answer. Could we integrate it at a later date?
Figured you might ask that. Is it possible? Yes. Do you potentially have to redo or revamp your user and groups in the cloud software and reassign permissions to the federated
say,
users
it
and
breaks
basically
credentials
redo
in
it
the
all?
process?
Potentially. Yes, you might have to. Is that a large number of staff that are using this system right now? No, we're talking less than 10.
Yes.
So it's not as arduous as if you said I need to do it with the email system with every town user. Is it lovely to do later? No, I'd rather do it on the front end always. But it's not impossible. We've done it before.
Right.
Is it worthwhile to offer to take, and I know we've taken a while to get to this answer even, to take a little longer and see if we can't get a better price to do the whole thing
We can try if that's what you want.
and not spend a long time on it, but maybe just a short time? And is there, somewhere where you guys, if there's somewhere where the board feels like it is a worthwhile investment, what is that, so we know whether we can get near there or not, and then we can try.
So, and my other question is, I know we've talked about it. Is there any other funding sources at the state level that could help us, with cybersecurity being
Not that it's going to align with your time frame. I mean, the source that we're currently using on our wastewater project is a potential source, but that's not going to align before October. And we start the next reading in September.
Right.
So
Okay.
to have this up operational,
to
make sure
ask.
everybody's trained, we really need to have it in place in August so that there's a little space in case inevitably things don't go as planned.
The whole implementation and stand-up of this is primarily by the vendor outside of like a data file that they're going to import and migrate from our existing platform and handheld config and the SSO config if we were doing it, right? It's primarily all them doing the setup and training.
That's our,
Yes.
yeah.
Do we have any timeline on what that would look like from PO to?
They haven't given us exactly that mapping until we give them an answer on this.
I can take a look at the IT budget for this fiscal year and see if there might be capacity. I still personally struggle to want to throw that much money at it, even if there is the capacity in the operating budget.
Yeah.
But that's a decision ultimately for you guys, so I'll come back with what is the capacity
Yeah.
that budget has with the projected costs that are left for the year.
If we can do some homework and bring it back for the next meeting,
Mm-hmm.
I know we don't want to wait too long. I'm not terribly comfortable moving forward without that single sign-on and control of Active Directory would have for us, but that's a big number for what it is.
So for April, your
Like
next
the
meeting?
city of Boston wastewater or water system. I mean, that would make more sense.
Right. If we were the
There's no
city
scale
of
to
Boston, if we were Worcester,
Sure, it would make more sense.
maybe if we were an oversized Greenfield, maybe, but
So we can go back to them and let them know that you want to proceed, but we can't agree to that implementation cost. See
at
if they
this
can,
time.
if they can find a different way to bundle that to bring that cost down.
Yeah, I mean, you can put it all together on one quote and find a way to get there. I mean,
And then bring
is
it
there
back
a directionally a number that guys would feel comfortable with getting to? As I could ask, just
I don't know that you want to do that.
okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm asking them to sharpen their pencil and,
Okay.
and work with us, but
So let me go back to the vendor, copy you and Pete on that, see what we can get,
Mhm.
and we'll plan to bring it back on your April 27th agenda. Okay,
That's
I
our
think they
next
can do
meeting.
better.
That's our next meeting.
unless you tell me otherwise.
No.
Okay, thank you all.
I'll connect with you guys on the parent vendor, the Neptune themselves contacts, and then whether we circle them all together and just tell them we need this to be better or whatever, we'll do that.
That'd be helpful. Thank you.
I will rejoin at 9:12. Thank you, Pete. Review and approval of the treasury warrant is the last item of regular business.
Should be right next to you.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 22nd AP warrant of fiscal 2026 in the aggregate amount of $392,470.86 as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, with that, move the board goes into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A1, to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health rather than professional competence of an individual, or to discuss the discipline or dismissal of, or complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. We will not return to regular session.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Brian, will you call the roll? All those in favor?
Selectman Ward,
Aye.
Chairman Smith,
Aye.
Selectman Benbury.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.